Crypto market has bounced a little bit. It has actually erased the recent downturn. And if you look at what we talked in last video, we were actually discussing the possibility of the price bouncing from this range when the price was going to the downside. Now we have our own explanation that why we thought that a bounce is going to come and why we would go towards 26,000. Now that we are watching the exact same thing happening, we need to look at the entire market and ask, some of these possibilities which are being thrown at us. What are the odds for this? Now, how relevant this is and what's the validity of these kind of predictions? We are going to actually break those down, going through what they say and what they think, and taking that back into the right terms of price action, because you also have different things evolving in the market. Like Credible is highlighting the fact that the open interest is actually increasing. You're actually watching things where you need to understand that, yeah, that's aligned with the macro run up. Now, yes, you have a lot happening right now in the market where you as yourself need to understand some things are better positioned than other. We're watching XLM slowing down and we have the reason for that. The market shows here exactly why that's happening. So it's completely fair to look at things and ask okay, something big is coming. But how exactly will that play out? That's what we're going to try and break it down here today. So let's jump into the video. Before that, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. We shared this thought process 24 hours back when the price was still at the bottom, when the negative sentiment was still high. The charts did show us the volume was coming back in positive, the bullish volume. And we were actually getting more volume during even that time period, showing the price can actually come back all the way up to this level, but higher odds were towards 25,600. And right now, if we go back into the market on a similar time horizon, you do see that the price did bounce off and you are testing this level of resistance. So what about XRP? That's a big question which we always get asked. On a daily chart, this is what the XRP looks like. You have different patterns for sure, but it all gives you one idea. It breaks higher, it retests and bounces, and then the price follows. It breaks higher, it retests and then bounces. The price follows. Again, you got a break higher, you're getting a retest and it is trying to bounce off. But yes, as of now, you have not yet bounced above that territory. You want to see this pattern breaking. And when that happens, now you can be comfortable saying, okay, we're going higher. Because you need to understand the macro picture looks like this. So you need to look for the micro, the medium, and the macro term. Because if you're a long-term guy looking at this asset and saying okay, there is a possibility that this rounded bottom pattern is suggesting something to you. Now, if you want to break that pattern itself, and then you're going into say okay, this is a cup and handle pattern which is breaking higher, there should be a retest and then a bounce. But when you zoom in to that, you're looking at this area asking the question okay, I do see that, but we have a short-term trend line on which we are standing right now. We had a micro trend line which we broke. We have this short-term trend line on which we are right now. So can we bounce off from that level? This is one of the questions which I asked to you guys in the Patreon and in the Telegram. One thing we have to keep in mind is that there is a lot happening in the market. When you actually look at all these big institutions who are preparing themselves to jump into the crypto assets, especially Bitcoin ETF. Now remember, when the Bitcoin price goes up, the crypto market goes up. We are actually watching the same thing evolving one way or the other. Now, when you try to trade, this is something I really want you guys to know. Nasdaq gets approval to trade with AI. I mean, that's some serious shit, guys, because even without that, if this is what the algorithms can actually do to you guys, a lot of people entered into shorts yesterday before the price actually bounced. Now, being sensible, we can say that's a long range support. Don't go shorting at the support. No one does that. It shouldn't be the actual trend. Whereas there was a lot of signals in the market suggesting at that support, you're getting a lot of people being trapped here. There was a lot of selling volume here. If you look at that volume, you do understand that a lot of people were going really shorting the market. They were negative about the market. But you understood the fact that, okay, the chances for that dropping further were much less because you had the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 done with a double bottom. So the market structure kind of gives you an idea. But again, they are trying to come up with technology to manipulate you and me, the retail. So we need to understand, okay, it's AI. Great. AI is always fed with the data which they already have. That's one of the area which I want to take you guys to. Google's AI, the bot, actually takes you towards the predictions of $1, $5, $10, $50 for XRP. So then when you actually go into the details, it kind of gets a little bit weird. Yeah, they talk about all these targets. It's not just a clickbait. But when you come into the reality, it actually goes back what? An analyst believe that XRP could reach by 2023 end, it can reach $1. Before that, he thinks XRP is going to tumble to 0.28. So where are we right now? This is the point of that question. We had 0.48. We had this support. If we drop that support, the next support is going to be somewhere close to 0.37. And that has to be one of the strongest support. Now, the question goes back to 0.28 is here. What do you think is going to happen when you actually break that territory? Panic, that kind of thing is still there. Now, to understand where these guys are coming from, or at least how this AI works, look at this. They are putting also this argument, like if we manage to break 0.4 and 0.5, that means we have a lot of upside. Great. But then they actually put the highlight, to reach $5. It is going to take 942% increase, and it may do that by 2027. And I'm like, okay, that's some serious BS. Because when you actually look at the $10 mark, they're putting that in 2030. So you actually get the idea that they're saying a 20x rise would take 7 years. A 10x rise would take another 4 years. That's some serious horseshit. Because if you actually think about this, it's not the AI creating things about itself. It is the AI trying to go through online and pick some of these guys and give you the idea what they are saying. Okay, that means we have already seen things like this. Iraq, we all know, we have actually seen a lot of forecast over the time. We have seen that. But we do understand these are all human beings. It's not the actual AI giving us the idea. It's the AI going around the internet searching somewhat similar questions and answers of what's being asked and giving you the idea. That's exactly going to happen here. But the algorithm here has been refined to that extent. They know what the retail is going to think like, act like, and execute like. That's why they always take the other end. So if we are in the market and we want to succeed, one, we need to know how the market is evolving, because that's the macro direction. In between, for sure, you will see micro moves, fluctuations, and you need to capitalize on them. If not, at least know that's what's happening in the market. Because once you understand that, okay, this guy is slowing down the market, but the market is trying to push through him, and the market really don't care much about him. Because the market, crypto market right now is exploding around the globe. The usage is increasing. And within just the US, when you look at this, these institutions are huge. And when they come out with an exchange traded fund, it opens that corridor for money to come in. Now, it's like a repository of monies for sure. It's not the central banks, but still, if you actually look at what they hold, it's like an economy of a developing world, right? It's like the India and other countries. If you actually look at BlackRock itself, it's like, if you exclude US and China, this kind of is way bigger than all the other countries' GDP. So now you get the point. They can move the market. If they decide to enter this market, that means this market is here to stay, and long run, it's going to climb higher. Now, what happened with XLM, right? The price actually dropped. We were all anticipating the price is making a double bottom. We are getting a breakout. It should go higher. But then we started watching like, okay, some people are getting trapped, or the market was deciding I'm going to the other direction. So what was happening? They tried to hype this thing. Now, is it good? Yes, it's good. It's not bad. The idea, the thought process, everything shared there is actually good. But the way they hyped that thing, it didn't look good. Because on the other end, you have XRP and Ripple, the way they do things, you understand that. Any big announcement, they're not actually hyping these kind of things. And the investors or the traders expected much more with that, and they're not happy. That's the primary reason why you're seeing this corrective leg down. Again, that's on a 4-hour note. If you zoom out for this asset, what you're watching in here is that macro range is still active. You have done your accumulation, you broke higher, you're retesting, you're trying to bounce off. If you want to get an idea of what that asset is doing, look at that weekly or monthly structure. It shows you that the price has not yet started bursting high, but the RSI does show you that the increase in momentum is super high. The back D on the macro here in this chart, it doesn't actually give you, but when you actually go on a market cap, it kind of shows you it already crossed to the upside. The volume is to the upside. It's bullish. Now, come back to XRP. On this date, yesterday when the price was kind of doing this, I actually asked you guys a question like, we or the retail gets trapped before the other guys push the market back up. So are we enough at this point? Are they looking to trap more people? There is a higher possibility that we may actually come back down here and push back higher. Now, yes, we'll have to break things down into different area, looking at this, and I'll say some buyers are being trapped here. If we get a breakout here, that's good, that's positive. Because on a micro level, you can also put the argument that we're trying to trend higher. We're trying to break this level. If we do break that, it's bullish, it's positive, right? But as you zoom out, you also get the note that, okay, we dropped. We're trying to go back up, and it's taking a long time. Even when the Bitcoin is up back to that range, we are not. Most likely, we're going to come back down, revisit this territory, make a double bottom, and then bounce off. So for XRP, in that matter, yes, short term, this is what we are looking at. But if you actually erase that narrative of short term and then go on to at least a medium term view, you're like, okay, we are just below this trend line. Now, what does that mean? The micro trend line is showing you that's done. And you come on to the medium term. Then you come on to the macro. You have a long way in that sense. Right now, you're at a support. You can still revisit that range of support. That's what we are watching. And we have to keep this in mind. Each time the price goes up, down, being volatile, the market kind of shows you the signal. If that was the time when you actually get a lot of buyers getting creeped in here, okay, we can expect further downside. But on a weekly, we are watching this. When we made a bottom, there was a lot of orders being trapped. When we made a local top, you get that idea. Now here, something similar is starting. So I'm expecting that the price trend here and then break back up. One of the primary reasons you need to look at that idea is because the money flow is now moving more in to the Bitcoin side of things. Bitcoin dominance just show you like, yeah, it's coming back up, it's breaking higher. That's actually good for the entire market, but on the short term, it's not that great for altcoins which are not correlated with Bitcoin itself, because Bitcoin can actually come back up. It's testing this range of resistance. And if you zoom out, this is the view which you are actually looking at. Yeah, we actually got this. It kind of looks good because on a daily chart, this is, what I'm watching. Some of you guys may agree with me, some of you may not. But yeah, obviously, if you have a different thought process, a question, drop me in the comment section. That's how we, go through that discussion. So when you look at this, you're trending to the downside, you get a rectangle, which is a continuation pattern. You come back down, you do that again, you break to the downside. The moment you reverse, now we are looking for the trend to continue. So Each time you make these rectangle patterns and trap these guys, it kind of gives an idea that you're still trending onto that direction. So if that's true, then we should put the argument that from here, this should be our direction. We're actually seeing people getting trapped here, then the price moved back up. We're watching something similar. Yesterday, I broke this down to you guys and told you, watch this. There was a lot of buyers getting trapped here. The price went back up, retested that range, giving them an opportunity to move out, and then came back down. So if that's what's happening here, that means sellers are trapped. They got one more opportunity to exit the market. If they didn't, they are trapped and the price is going to go back up. I think that has a higher odds here. And remember, this is not going to happen in a day. If you are conservative and you're trying to measure what we did last time, here we took like a month to reach the top. Next time here, we actually took like a week to do that. So we are in between like a week to a month. Most likely, we are going to come back up and test this range. Now, yes, in few hours, we're going to get the daily candle closing. That kind of gives you an idea that if it closes somewhere like this or above, that's an engulfing candle. That's a bullish engulfing candle. So at this support, when you get that kind of a narrative, it's like, okay, somewhere here, people are accumulating on a shorter horizon to swing trade this asset all the way up to 30, 31,000. Now, if we do get a break to the upside, when we look at the volume, at that time, we'll try and break things down to look at where the volume is. Because right now, you're looking at this. Okay, there's a lot of activity somewhere close to the range of 30K. We want to see that increasing as we go up. We get that stairs to bounce off from each level. If the attraction to the downside is reducing, that's much better. And that's what we actually want to look for. But again, the market is so volatile. If you are not focusing on what's happening on the macro, you can always get trapped on the micro stuff. So if Bitcoin itself is doing this, keep this in the mind. Almost all the other assets are going to do that. Just the difference is short-term, Bitcoin is going to go up. Not all assets are going to trend higher. That's one of the primary reasons why you see few assets are running hard here. If you've already seen the Toncoin breakout update, which we gave last time, you already know, okay, this is actually going back up. There is a lot of activity happening on that end. Then you look at Bitcoin Cash, VeChain, those are in the just first 100. So you're watching a group of assets trade in the direction of Bitcoin. So you need to actually look for how many of them are highly correlated, how many of them are just the opposite. So you need to understand how the market is evolving so that you stand a better position in the market. If you position yourself in the way where the market is going, now you have a higher odds. Yes, you'll have to look at the volume. Yes, you'll have to look at the trend and pattern. But if you need help in that and get these kind of information on right time, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.